Danny, can you give me a little thumbs up in the chat if you can see and hear me? Where's the chat tool? There it is. Yeah, mint. All right, cool. I assume you guys can see everything, hopefully. Oh, this is why I don't like technology. All right, well, if you guys can just let me know if you can see the webinar Canva document. Somebody just give me a thumbs up again or something like that. Yeah, mint. All right, you guys. So, cover housekeeping. Like this is live, and my only request is that you're active. So, any questions, give answers if I ask any questions. And if you don't know the question right away, don't worry. I will I will endeavor to answer it as soon as we finish or before we finish. So, I really love these sentences really in this quote. If you want to impress people, make things complicated, and if you want to help people, make things simple. It does kind of come back to this complexity bias. Like for some reason, we always love to hear a complex answer to a simple one. So if you're here to try and get a better understanding on how you can lose, let's say, 10 kilos over the next 30 days with eating whatever you want and doing whatever you want, like that's bullshit. That's not what you're going to be hearing today, and that's not what you're going to what you're going to be given. So it really is just the simple things done well over time that result in those long-term results that we're all after. Oop, wait for Kevin to get in. What up, Kevin? I see that you've just jumped in. Awesome. Hey, AD. Okay, awesome, guys. Let's keep rolling. Kevin, you haven't missed anything, by the way. I've kind of just started. Right. Most freak out in December, and rightfully so. Like it's Christmas, it's New Year's, there's more social events, there's more yummy food, there's more food occasions, and it's like the end of the year exhaustion hits. Everybody just wants to let your hair down and fucking relax, and rightfully so. I have done and most of the time done myself in multiple occasions. Even if it wasn't Christmas, I would still be letting my hair down and relaxing. So I totally understand why people freak out in December. I still sometimes freak out in December. I've got events coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I'm like, oh, but what about this and what about that? So, like, what you're feeling is totally normal, and not saying that you all feel like it, but you may have resonated with what I've just said there a little bit. It's totally okay. And it makes a lot of sense as to why. So, just drop me an emoji or in a comment if you feel like December is a minefield for your health goals. Just drop an emoji or a comment into the Zoom chat so I can see. Kevin, laugh, Tanya, thumbs, awesome. AD, you're probably busy with your kid, so I not to worry about that. Danny, do you feel like December's just a minefield with your health and fitness goals? Yeah, yeah. That's because we're actually that's because we're on top of it this year, Danny. You're not just jumping on board. What up, Piper? Cool. Piper, hello. You haven't missed much. We're just kind of going into it. Actually, Piper, let us know in the comments, just like an emoji or some sort of comment. Do you feel that December's like a minefield navigating your health and fitness goals, or it has been? Drop a little emoji. Yeah, absolutely a minefield. Yeah. Well, hopefully not after this webinar, definitely. Awesome. And like I was saying, guys, it is totally normal to feel that way. So, like, the truth is, this is actually the best time of the year to test your good eating and exercise habits. I know it might sound a little bit paradoxical, like, what? Why now? Wouldn't it be like during times when it's more chill? But it's actually, your habits and boundaries stick for the long term when practiced during adversity rather than when times are just good, and there is work to do 100%, and you're probably going to have to do things outside your comfort zone. Like, for example, I'm not sure if Tanya would be cool with me saying this, but I know that recently she had to have tougher conversations with her loved ones around her boundaries in terms of food in order to stay in line with her goals, and that was uncomfortable. And often you actually have to do that during times where you really don't want to do them. But that's the best time to actually practice your targeted, good, healthy eating habits and behaviors during times of adversity rather than times when are just good and chill. So let me know in the Zoom chat why this is important to you guys. Could be just a real quick 3 word sentence, but let me know why this is important to you. Let me know, guys. Drop it in the chat. Yeah, facts. Don't want to revert back to old habits. Yeah, facts, Tanya. Those those convos suck. They suck. In the recent podcast me and Grace did, I spoke about how I had to say no to my dad for the first time. My dad was a ex Michelin star chef. He cooked for the Queen. And I had to say no to him when I was younger. That was really tough. Since then, it's been a lot easier to create a better version for myself. Facts. Love it, guys. Love it. Cool. Let's continue. So essentially, what you're going to be learning today, guys, is the good fatty mindset, key to success in December. 3 life-changing practical tips for navigating December without giving up your faves. And then we're going to give you a little bit of like a 3-day bounce back plan if things don't go, to what you want. And then just finishing up leading up to Christmas and New Year's, what to do, what to expect leading up to this time of year. Just so I know, I feel like I'm not sharing you the actual screen. Can someone just tell me that you guys can actually see the slides and you're not just seeing me very quickly? Yeah, okay, cool. You can see the slides. Sweet. Sweet. So, guys, the desired outcomes of this is you want to eat and train guilt-free during December, navigate December without giving up what you enjoy, a more fulfilling December, less stress, both leading up to and after, and a better quality of life at the end of the day, and starting 2025 ahead and not on the back foot. Like I said before, what you won't learn is the easy route, which is starve, binge, eat, repeat. And that's because you're avoiding managing your health, having those tough conversations, saying no, and prioritizing your self-care. You're not going to be learning the easy route here with me, or how to lose 10 kilos of fat in 30 days whilst eating whatever you want and not moving, because that is all horseshit. So the premise of what we'll be talking about is, there is work to do, but it will most definitely be worth it. So a little bit about me. If you guys don't know, improving my health changed my life at 14. I was afraid to start Boston Fitness, but my sister pushed me into it in 2016 to help more. I wanted to learn more, and that's what led me to do my master's degree, bachelor degree, and become a qualified sports nutritionist and strength and conditioning coach. Why? To be the coach I wish I had. And throughout my studies, I was just selling PT. I was being a PT and sold online gym and food programs. And then I went fully independent back in 2023. Essentially, I've been helping people rebuild their relationship with food and exercise for sustained results since 2016. And today I live in Manchester with my girlfriend Grace, and I really want a fucking dog. Like I put it in bold because I'm manifesting that I'm getting a dog soon. Even though I might be moving back to Australia in the next couple of years, I really want a fucking dog. I'm sick of it. I'm 27. I want a dog. And this is just many of the transformations that I have been able to achieve through my own methods. And hopefully you can gain some really important tips what I've been using with them. And some of you that can see themselves are actually on this uh, panel of photos. Hopefully, what I've given to them is exactly what you can see what I'm giving you today, and you can take upon it on board with your friends, your family, and your loved ones, and even your own health journey. So, all I want to do is help you do the same. That's it. That's all I'm wanting to do. So, let's Christmas. The December dilemma. I kind of touched on it at the start, but December is really, more social events, food centric celebrations, the guilt cycle. You feel powerless around holiday buffets, yo yo dieting your way through and feeling trapped by trigger foods. And a lot of people would be wise to know that this is an actual thing instead of the emotional reactive response that we get during December in terms of our food and our training, just general health. A lot of people don't actually know that December is actually a little bit of a dilemma in how to navigate it all. And then being aware of that from the get-go is so beneficial in knowing how we can then, have a good plan of attack going into it. So to summarize, really, December is a minefield with navigating health and fitness goals. It always has been and it always will be due to the more social events and food centric celebrations, which can tie into having a guilt cycle, make you feel powerless, and then you just go, fuck it, I'm going to yo yo diet my way through, feeling trapped by trigger foods. And then all of a sudden you start 2025 and you're actually more stressed than what you were hoping to be because you just finished a relaxing period, which should be December. So, the good fatty mindset, I want us to kind of relook at redefining success here. It does not mean strict. It means managing your health in a sustainable and self-compassionate way. And I think that's really key to highlight here is that we are managing our health in a self-compassionate way to honor our body in order to develop sustained habits. It's called managing, not avoiding, not being over restrictive, managing. That's the key word here. So essentially you're just kind of reshifting the goalpost. I know that some have goals where they're very strict. That would be the red. Some of you right now are on fat loss phases with me, and it is, quite restrictive in the sense because it's a short-term pursuit. However, during this time, I want us to kind of reshift the goalposts to be towards more sustainable and self-compassionate with managing and learning how to maintain and manage during this time, not go completely extreme and restrictive because it will just set you up for failure. Now, we want to be able to see how we can break the binge restrict cycle, yo-yo dieting, enjoying food whilst honoring your body. And like I said previously, saying the whole binge restrict, avoiding food, overdoing food is actually easier than saying no and managing your food and being in maintenance. It's easier to just completely overdo it the next day, eat very little, and then rinse and repeat until, you get into January and you're like, shit, my eating patterns are all irregular now because I've just been focusing on binging, saying, and then avoiding. It's harder to actually learn how to manage your eating habits and boundaries during this time. And that's why I always want you to kind of remember going into these events that you're going into is that you're doing this to honor your body. That's that self-compassionate aspect. You're doing this to honor your body. So it's essentially we want to get out of that start diet, restriction, deprive, crave, give in, guilt, and then it's just a complete cycle. This is the diet cycle where we're just over restricting, depriving. Then, as humans, we will crave, we give in guilt, and then it's just a rinse and repeat to more focus on lifestyle builders. That's where managing your health and fitness, as opposed to avoiding because it's easier, will help you develop those lifestyles for life. And it's being aware of that you are building a lifestyle as opposed to just giving into the diet cycle. Now, guys, I know this might sound a little bit cliche or whatever it might be, but I want you to kind of close your eyes for a second, just for 30 seconds. Close your eyes, and I want you to, once you've done that, I want you to imagine that you're at a holiday event and that, one of your family members or friends or guests have just given you a plate of food and you're saying thank you very much. Now they want to give you another plate of food. And then they also want to give you another plate. I want you to picture yourself just confidently and respectfully saying, no, I'm okay, thank you. And how that makes you feel. Hopefully, it should make you feel good. So, if you do feel like you are one to succumb to that type of pressure, it is worthwhile considering doing a little bit of like a rehearsal in your head beforehand or a week beforehand of when you're in those situations with your loved ones and you normally can't say no to them because my auntie Lisa used to be like that, like crazy, always shoving food down my face. And I'm like, no, no, no. But it does help with knowing, okay, that's the targeted behavior I want to go towards. If I can rehearse it in my mind, that will give me a good plan of attack when it does happen in real life to say no, I'm okay, thank you, and be more confident with your food choices that make you feel good. So, my 3 tips when navigating December to really kind of be quick and concise with it is, plan to be organized, approaching a week of events, eating normal meals 80% of the time, having your go-to foods ready to go and meals ready to go, and then minimize going into events starving. Like, just like, oh, I'm not going to be eating breakfast because I've got Christmas lunch. No, that's how we're going to be overindulging in those moments. So, minimize going into events starving. A high protein meal 2 to 3 hours beforehand. Perfect. Prioritize your main meals as well and minimize the snacking. I can't stress that enough. Prioritize your main meals and minimize the snacking. And it's literally what you guys are doing now. There's nothing changed really. It's just got more social events. So making sure that you're planned, making sure that you're organized with your food, making sure that you've got everything ready to go to stick to your foods, your normal eating 80% of the time. And then that if either 20% of the time or a little bit more, that's where you're enjoying life's events, which I want you to. So if you can control the controllables in terms of your food outside of the events, and that's all I mean, it's like outside of the events, awesome. That's it. And what that looks like is what you're doing currently now. And like for example, James here, like what he said here, having the lunches and snacks ready to go helped me. That I was able to, keep those healthy choices. And that is literally it. Planning being organized allows you to keep adhering to those healthier choices. My second tip for navigating December is mindful indulgences. We want to enjoy and savor the right moments without losing sight of the long-term goal. It is that time of year where, like I mentioned, end of year exhaustion hits. You've all probably hit your own goals. I know some of you that have gone through massive changes, not just physical, but mental over the last year, just being with me. And it is all about, enjoying the right moments and savoring those moments and potentially not looking at the weight gain if you do gain a bit of weight during this time of year, because it probably will for me as well. Looking at the pudge in the positive mindset. You were able to enjoy your events and time with your friends and family. And if that means you've gone ahead for seconds on desserts one or two times and you've got a little bit softer, then that's amazing. That's actually good because you're enjoying your time with your friends and family. But we don't overdo it. And that's where that honoring our body comes in to perspective. We're not overdoing it where we've completely gone from one extreme to the next and we're going, fuck it, I'm just going to completely eat whatever I wish and overdo it. So we want to enjoy mindfully and maintain our body weight during this time of year. Eat your favorite foods, but be mindful of the portions. Another one is a good one, if you find like once you're around really good, yummy, tasty food, you can't stop. Eating till you're 80% full and sticking to that boundary. Eating whatever you wish, but eating until you're 80% full. When you can feel yourself being 80% full, you stop. That's something that I know has gone well for me in the past. And if you're someone who, I'm trying to be better at being mindful with my portions and my favorite foods, but I still have that, that urge to keep going overboard. Eating till you're 80% full is a nice little trick to still enjoy whatever food you're eating, but you're not eating too much of it to the point where you're overindulging. An alcohol limit, yeah, sure. Let's say that alcohol isn't beneficial towards your health and fitness goals. But, I love a good beer. I love a good drink. I'm not one to shy away from something like that. I haven't drunk in a couple of weeks myself right now, but I know when December rolls around, I'm definitely going to be having a couple of my favorite Italian beers. So I would say if you do like to drink, but you're being mindful of how it affects you during December, stick to 3 to 4 alcoholic drinks, standard alcoholic drinks per social occasion. If you don't feel like drinking or if it's not something up your alley, then don't even worry about it. Get drunk over the food. So what this looks like in terms of the portion size, what I meant there, eat your favorites, but be mindful of the portions, is it can be as simple as, okay, I fucking love fruitcake or Christmas cake. My grandma makes a fucking killer one in Australia. I'm gonna miss it this year. And a couple of years, I would have a big fat slice. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this because I want to, make room for the pavlova and everything else. So all I simply did, and what I suggest you to do, is instead of having a big slice of fruitcake, cut it in half or have 1/3 of it. Like, for example, here, not this right here, not the big cake, but the little slice of cake here. Now that will allow you to enjoy that dessert, but also not allow it to go overboard. My third tip for navigating December, is the movement mindset. I do not want you, and I don't suggest for you to go and try and chase PBs during December, personal best. Relax on your training commitments when appropriate. And what I mean by that is if you're quite strict, for example, myself, I know I run twice a week and I train weights four times a week. I know during the December, couple or second half of December, I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed on my training in the sense of, okay, if I normally hit 4 sessions a week, 2 runs, I'm probably going to hit 2 to 3 gym sessions and 1 run. So instead of it being like a really strict line that, it's either you train 4 days a week and run twice a week, have a little bit of fluidity, have a little bit of a relaxation in that barrier towards your training commitments because it is a time where you should be relaxing. It is a time where you should be enjoying life's events and seeing your friends and family. And sometimes, doesn't mean going to the gym, or catching up with your loved one, I hope that you guys say, I'll catch up with my loved one going over the gym. And I know most of you would because that's the mindset that really influenced on how we can sustain long-term healthy habits with our training. Because at the end of the day, your gym will always be there. But we do want to relax on our training commitments during this time of year. We don't want to do nothing. That's definitely something that I don't suggest. We don't want to do nothing because really our training has a huge effect on our mental health. So we want to continue to lift weights and stay active. We want to use movement joyfully to enjoy the festive season. And, if you don't want to wait 1 second, I think Grace is so at my downstairs to get into our apartment building, you have to call my phone to let them up. Just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. Can you quickly? I'm on the, I'm on the, I'm on the webinar. Can you call? Can you call the? Oh, oh. She's just like, oh fuck. Um, sorry guys, that was a little bit of miscommunication on my end with Grace. What's a good way to look at it is if you don't feel energized or you're keen to go to the gym or even running, light walks every day. Just doing something light is better than nothing. Or, if you've got a cousin who likes to run a little bit, but he or she can't run as far as you can, then just ask them, hey, do you want to go for a run? And they go, oh, no, I can't run 10, 8K or 5K. Just say, yeah, it's cool. We'll run 2K and we'll walk for half an hour after and we'll chat. So just being a little bit relaxed on your training is going to be of a benefit during this time. And like I said, we want to use this time to relax. And a good way to look at it is that the same mindset you have towards your food, have it towards your training during this time of year. So I've kind of just briefly mentioned this, but if your normal routine is 4 gym sessions a week with 1 run, where we're pushing for progress, your December routine should be like 2 to 3 gym sessions, maybe 1 chill run. We want to maintain progress if possible and opt for activities with friends and loved ones. Let's say that we go shit. I just fucking overate pavlova galore, Christmas cake, give it to me, crackling ham, all the jazz. Let's say if we just went fuck it and we just we didn't find that balance. We went from one extreme to the next and we overdid it. I want to chat about that really quickly because that can happen. It can even happen to me. What I want you to really remember is chill out, relax. Everything's perfectly okay. You know, you are human. Shit happens. Doesn't matter. Over stressing about it will only make things work. So let's say you do overdo it. How do we navigate the guilt? How do we bounce back? So I highly suggest during a 3-day bounce back plan, do not restrict yourself in the meals or days after. It will only make it worse. Do not use exercise to punish yourself. It will only make it worse. Food and fluid. We want to make sure that we're having protein and fiber rich meals in all of our meals throughout the day. Focus on your normal eating schedule, your normal calories, your normal eating schedule. Don't try and over restrict or deprive yourself. Just eat like you've been eating normally. Stay well hydrated. Activity wise, light movement could be a light walk, light run, and normal gym schedule. Now, let's say if you do go overboard, particularly at Christmas lunch or dinner, try and go for like a light little walk after. It'll be not only is it good to get the body moving in terms of your digestion, but it's also good for your mental health because you're just getting out and moving after a time where, you would feel a lot more guilty if you sat on the couch and did nothing. So little tips like that can go a long way, and do not over restrict yourself and do not just punish yourself with exercise after or the days preceding, sorry, if you do overindulge on one of the days during December. Again, you are human. You need to enjoy life's events. One indulgent day or meal doesn't undo your progress. And it is really consistency over perfection. Always consistency over perfection. To kind of tie things up, guys, I want to talk about leading up to Christmas. So, should I cut leading up to Christmas so I can eat more? This is a really common question I've been getting lots, especially through my Instagram DMs and just general everything. Should I cut leading up to Christmas so I can eat more? Leading up to Christmas, my biggest suggestion is if you're trying to cut weight or lose weight during the second half of December, it's a nope. Now, the reason for that is because during a weight loss or fat loss phase, you are it is a form of restriction. You will be depriving yourself of certain foods. But at the same time, if you are super hungry, which will inevitably happen after finishing a dieting phase, you will be focusing more on the food than, for example, your Aunt Kathy's convo or your friend's family convo. And you'll have an increased chance of overindulging due to your irregular hunger control. Because once you finish a cut or a dieting phase, your hunger is out of whack. Your hunger hormones and cues are out of whack. So you have certain amount of time to recalibrate your hunger hormones and cues. And if you're faced with events that are popping up and things that are coming in front of you with food centric events and social events, if you're going into those starving with irregular eating habits and hunger hormones and hunger cues, you're just going to set yourself up for disaster. So what I suggest during the second half of December and even like the 1 to 2 weeks before Christmas is maintaining your body weight, just eating in a maintenance. You will go into 2025 ahead. Yes, you might look a little bit more pudgy, you might look a little bit softer because you enjoyed yourself, but it's really a difference of okay, I've gained half a kilo compared to okay, I've gained 3 to 4 kilos. I'm binge eating. I'm over restricting. I'm in a binge cycle. I feel guilty. It's just another shit show that you can avoid. So we want to focus on maintaining our body weight during this time of year. Now, like, look, if you do want to cut and try and lose weight over the Christmas period, totally go ahead. But just be aware that you will be battling your hunger hormones and temptations more than not during this time of the year. Okay, so as long as you're aware of that going into it, okay, I'm going in, I'll be battling more than not, then that's a good mindset to have instead of being reactive and emotional because you're like, I don't know why I can't keep saying no to the Christmas cake. I'm meant to be losing weight right now. Right, so the plan of attack for holiday eating, enjoy the festivities and don't feel guilty for participating. Eat plenty of lean protein and veggies earlier in the day. Eat your favorite foods and be mindful of portions. Continue lifting weights and staying active. It's as simple as that, guys. It's really as simple as that. Again, like I said, most more often than not, the most simplest advice for this type of stuff is the correct advice. There wasn't any particular complex strategy or approach or way of eating. It's just all being mindful, finding that balance, walking that fine line, having those tough conversations, being true to your values and your boundaries, being mindful and enjoying yourself and being okay if you put on a little bit of pudge. Totally cool. At least you don't put on 4 kilos instead of 1 kilo and you'll be ahead of so many starting 2025. Alrighty, guys. Do you have any questions about what we've just discussed then? You get that dog. I fucking will get that dog. We love Grace. If you've got any questions, guys, just ask me either in the chat or um, take your mic off. Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, you can. A lot of people try to cut. It is so common. People are just like, I'm gonna lose a heap of weight. And even Grace was talking to me about this just recently. She's like, a couple of my favorite influencers are cutting weight at the moment to eat more at Christmas. What are your thoughts about that? And I was like, yeah, you can, but when you finish a dieting phase, you're fucking hungry. Like you've literally just put yourself through survival mode for 8 to 12 weeks. You smell a muffin, you're like, give me that fucking muffin. So it's just not a really good time to finish a dieting. Like me and Grace finished the diet. Um, Earlier this year, and we went to Italy that weekend. Like, I've got more dieting experience than Grace. Grace was just like, give me all the gelato, give me all the pizza and pasta, where I was like, I need to kind of slowly get myself back into it because I know I'll rebound very quickly. But she didn't know that, and she's like, fuck, I wasn't aware of that. I've overdone it. So yeah, it's being putting into context. You're going to be hungry. I'm glad that you're not going to go into this December. I wouldn't let you go into this December, um, trying to cut. And it's crazy because you can go into this time of year stressed about making these poor choices, and then because you're constantly thinking about those poor choices, you actually make those poor choices, and then all of a sudden you're now stressed after making those poor choices about making those poor choices. So it's like a double whammy. It's like a double stress. How much does that suck? It's like, oh, I'm already stressed leading up to it. Now I've fucked up and made those poor decisions. And it's just like this is meant to be a time during I'm meant to be relaxing. So yeah. Awesome, Danny. So this was huge. Love is cool. Do you guys have any other questions or anything like that? Or are we pretty much it was all self-explanatory? I guess my question is why trying to eat less? There's nothing particularly bad about yo-yo dieting and cutting after. Like you can totally do that. You can totally do that. But that's from a logical mind. Kevin, you're very logical. So that makes a lot of sense. But to somebody who has no idea of a sustainable eating pattern, consistently getting in calories in a sustainable way throughout the week, having those type of yo-yo eating habits, the magnitude of it actually might be more than what you actually have in your head. So now this individual's mood is irregular. Their hormones are irregular. Their performance at work, in the gym, in their day-to-day life is irregular. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about food, we're talking about energy. And how we consume our energy has an effect on our functioning. And that's where, people who, for example, you'll find that people who do fasting, you'll notice that their energy spikes are crazy and they're not at that sustainable level. So I'm not saying that it's bad. It's something that can have an effect that goes beyond you because of how you function. Let me know if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I saw a. Do you guys have any other questions or anything like that? No problem, bro. Alrighty, cool as. Guys, thanks heaps for attending. Obviously I'll be putting up this replay into the Boston Fitness members um school group in the community in the bonus material section. So you'll obviously be able to see all these slides and this one. So I greatly appreciate you guys coming. And yeah, that's what Piper has just said there. Easy way is the best way. Keep it simple. That's it. We are all walking on the balance. You might overdo it, you might not, doesn't matter. You're okay, everything's cool, enjoy yourself. If you do fuck up, I'll be here to help support you when you get back, when you start in the new year. If you don't, great job. if you go through it and you're like, I enjoyed myself, but I learned to say no, I really tested my good eating habits, fantastic. Like it's all about keeping it simple, stupid. And if you hear somebody tell you on Instagram or on the scroll, and if they go, this is how you can lose 30 kilos in less than 2 months following a dieting phase during December, just keep scrolling. Ignore them. Ignore them. Simple is the best way forward with this type of stuff. Enjoy yourself, guys, and thank you very much for attending. And I appreciate you spending your time. Alrighty. I will speak to you all soon. All the best.